What's up, Renegade Nation? Before we begin the video, I'd like to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters: Grim X Law 22, Drakota 185, Joseku, Philip Caudell, Salosi, Mighty Snake, Brian, Imka, Njoku, John Doe, Terry, Serena Avalar, and Astro CP. Thank you very much for your support. And if you want to support us on Patreon, feel free to check the link out below in the description to find out more. Thanks again. Good Lord have mercy. What do we have here? It's another trailer. A trailer, in fact, to a film that I'm very hyped for. And I showed Jacob the trailer for the first trailer last night, and yeah, vroom vroom. That's right.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Ford versus Ferrari, the fated race between Ford and Ferrari at the 24-hour at Le Mans, and yeah, it was Ford pretty much trying to knock Ferrari off of its dominant streak, because they had been the winner of the 24-hour at Le Mans for 5 years running. And Ford actually wanted to get into the performance industry and asked Ferrari, "Hey, can we borrow one of your cars to sort of make concepts?"
Do we have an idea of what year?
1966, 67, I believe.
Okay, so right around the late 60s.
Yeah, where Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles effectively come together, and Carroll Shelby builds and designs this monster of a machine that can do anything, or that can outperform anything on the or on the road or on the track. Yeah. And Ken Miles effectively being the freaking crazy man who's willing to drive that thing to the brink of crashing. Yeah. And another driver who is involved with the Ford GT40 Mach series was a man by the name of Bruce McLaren. You know the McLaren supercars?
McLaren? Yeah.
That McLaren.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So that's where he got his start.
It's really coming together.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
And so a lot of this spawned a supercar race that eventually started to peter out around the late 70s, early 80s. Mm-hmm. But here recently, people have been going back and looking and saying this is like one of the peaks of automotive performance and everything. And well, we got the trailer queued up here for the second trailer, that is. Let's see what happens here. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
How long have we known each other, Ken? I ever break a promise to you? I will put you in the driver's seat at Le Mans. And just shut your mouth and let me do my thing.
Oh.
All right.
Good old scrap.
Morning, Shelby.
Morning, Molly. I'm yours. I'll go to hell.
And that's it, folks. Ferrari wins the 24 Hours of Le Mans for the 5th consecutive year.
Mr. Ford, Ferrari has a message for you, sir.
What did he say?
He said Ford makes ugly little cars in ugly factories. And, he called you fat, sir.
We're gonna bury Ferrari at Le Mans.
So the great Carroll Shelby is gonna build a car to beat Ferrari with a Ford.
Correct.
And how long did you tell them you needed? 200 or 300 years?
90 days.
Ford hates guys like us.
Highway tune.
Because we're different.
Good song.
We heard he's difficult.
Ken? No, Ken's a puppy dog.
The feeling is the right audience for that song.
Yeah.
It's awful. If there's a problem, the computer will find it.
Get some scotch tape and a ball of wool.
What are they doing?
Making your car faster.
Oh yeah, the old aerodynamic trick. Finding out where the wind doesn't hit right.
Miles is not a Ford man.
We're on the verge of something. And now you tell me that I can't have the best man in the world behind the wheel?
Give me one reason why I don't fire everyone starting with you.
Well, sir,
We're lighter, we're faster. When that don't work, we're nastier. Go ahead, Carroll. Go to war.
You got a plan?
It's high risk.
I thought the whole point was to win the damned race.
this for a beauty pageant? We just lost. Looks aren't everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it still looks cool.
Looks killer.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Carroll Shelby always wanted to be like one of the high-end drivers at Le Mans, but unfortunately, he had a heart condition that prevented him from being able to go to participate in long endurance races like that. I mean, short races, he always competed in them, but his heart was, a big problem for him his whole life. I mean, he was always a small kid growing up, and it was because of his heart defect, and then he later grew out of it mostly, but
I know,
it still came back later in life.
I'm not born with a heart defect, but if I had a race in cars like that, it would have gave me a heart defect because I would have shit my pants going in a car that fast around the corner like some of those do back then. It's just like, and we think it's dangerous now. Back then, there's a lot more dangerous. No
safety precautions
features.
Nowadays are paramount.
Well,
they
even
are
just the medical technicians. Nowadays they didn't have a lot of the medical technology that we have now.
No,
that's
No, well, looking back on the 24-hour at Le Mans, looking back on Formula One in the 70s, Formula One, there's a reason why they called it the suicidal 70s, because it was like you had to be suicidal to drive one of those things. It was pretty much a tube full of fuel with an engine on the back, a seat in it, and 4 wheels.
Yep.
That's it. You had a seat belt, but that thing, honestly, the only thing it prevented you from doing was going flying out of it whenever you hit something.
Yep.
Now, say you hit something and the fuel tank explodes. You're done. There's almost nothing you can do. I mean, Niki Lauda...
we got the quick detach belts now.
Well, yeah, but even then, those mechanically can fail.
Yeah.
But Niki Lauda actually suffered a horrendous crash in the 1976 season where he was trapped inside of his Ferrari as it was burning, and he suffered burns on more than, I think it was like 70% of his body, including burns on the inside of his lungs because the air he was breathing was so hot.
Ugh.
And they pulled him out, and they had to do surgery to, they had to do this new kind of technique to clear out his lungs, to clear the scar tissue from his lungs. They leaned his head back like this to where his throat went straight down, and they put a bracer under his chin to where he couldn't bring his neck down, and they forced a tube into his lungs and scraped the scar tissue from his lungs and had a vacuum in there to pull it out.
Yeah, I've seen some of those done before.
Sheesh.
And I'm like, I hope that if that ever happens to me, I am completely out.
Well,
like, I don't want to be aware or conscious of anything.
Well, Niki actually, because he wanted to get back into the race, he wanted to get back into the Formula One season that year, he actually told them to do it multiple times, even though they didn't have to. It's because he wanted to get out of the hospital faster, just so he could get his helmet back on, and just so he could race again. Yeah. Now, he still lost the season, but it was by a very slim margin, and he was out for about a third of the season.
He got back in there and raced, though. That's
yeah, he got back in there and he raced,
incredible.
And then he won the next year.
Shit.
Yeah, it just shows you the dedication that some of these guys have for this sport and have for this kind of racing. And it's crazy. And you could say that they're crazy, but honestly, man, they're the ones pushing the boundaries. They're the ones pushing the boundaries. But all right, so this was Ford v Ferrari official trailer number 2. Jesus Christ!
Do we have a release date yet?
I think so. Let me.
I'll probably go to the theater.
Ferrari. Well, the reviews for it already are through the roof. Yeah, Ford v Ferrari coming out November 13th.
Okay.
Nice, not too long.
Has a budget of $100 million, and in terms of critical response, it already has an 88. But that's only from people who watched it at the Toronto Film Festival. So yeah, and I'm excited. I'm very excited for this. But anyway, that's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed, and if you want to see more from us, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a comment down below, and also until next time, signing off. I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
I'm Jacob,
and we will see you in the next one. Peace out.